So I bought something. I can't tell you what it is quite yet, but it is big. I sold something, then bought something. And there's gonna be a lot of videos on this something. I'm looking at it. It's right over there. She's a beaut. You guys ready to see it? There's gonna be some changes to Live Loud Productions. This is gonna change the face of my YouTube career. Trust me. It makes the sound of a dirt bike. It is a dirt bike. Don't ask me how I managed to get it up on that makeshift wood stand that I built out of a stump and some 2x4s. But this here is a 2001 KX 250 two-stroke. It's a clean bike. New tires. I just washed it, but it's dirty, obviously. They're not going to stay clean. Oh yeah, she goes. Oh my god, the fatty pipe. Oh, so great. I love dirt bikes. I've ridden dirt bikes a lot. I've owned 4 of them. I went from a 50cc Honda, I think. I don't know. I spray painted it hunter green. I was like 5. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I thought it went fast. It did at the time. And then I went up to a 2011 Yamaha TTR 125. That was a great bike. I recommend that to anybody who wants to start out. I mean, unless you have like, or you're moving up to a bigger stage bike, like a big wheel. The 50cc was good on getting like the shifting down. The 125, the 2011 TTR, that had, I don't know if it was a hydraulic clutch or not, but it felt like it had a hydraulic clutch, and it always drove so smoothly. It was the greatest, probably up until this one, the best bike that I've ever had. And that was my first big investment as a kid. I was like 13 or 12 or 13 or maybe 14. All I know is I had to sell it to get my first car. That was a sad day. But a KX 250, 2-stroke. I don't know why, but it's a scary machine. It gets up, it goes. She cruises. She books. And she looks especially great with me on it. Just look at her. I had to buy a few things for it. Brake handle, which I haven't put on yet. But I was told it had a fresh rebuilt motor, which it starts easy. It looks clean. No leaks, or there was a leak. Let me pull the bucket up. There was a leak right back in here. It was leaking like, hold on, let it focus. Right there, where my finger is. There's 2 little O-rings on the, I don't know what you want to call it, the fitting on this fatty pipe. All you do is you pull those two springs. There's a spring right here, you pull it off, and then there's a spring down here. Here, let's get in here. There's a spring right there. You just grab onto them with a pair of vice grips, pull them, let them go softly so they don't snap anything. And then I always find it easier to take the silencer off also, just because then you're not trying to fight it into 2 spots at once like this boot. Like let's say you took this off, the fatty pipe, you'd be fighting to get it into here and into this boot at the same time, so I just pull that silencer off. And then you take this off, which is a 8mm. No, yeah, 8 or 9mm, and then 10mm bracket. Same with up here, 8mm and 10mm. You gotta pull this plastic off, and then there's bolts back here for the silencer. It all came apart pretty easily for me. It's got FMF fatty pipe, and I'm not sure what kind of silencer it has actually. Pro Circuit R304 stainless shorty. Factory sound. It sounds mean. Only thing it's missing right now is a kill switch, which the wire for it's right there. I think that's the only thing I can think it would be for. But I mix mine at in between 40 and 42. Who has time for ratchets? I just took these two bolts off real quick, this one and this one right here. So you pretty much just want to get up in there, pull the trigger until it comes off, set it on the ground, and that's one. There's number two. Now you want to make sure to grab them so you don't lose them, because I've realized that whoever did work on this bike, she's dirty. I might have to get a pair of pliers to get this wing nut off. Oh well. That makes me feel weak. It almost feels like it's cross-threaded. It's still dragging quite a bit. Come on. Oh, got it. Kind of want to see how easy this pulls off. And then the third dirt bike I owned, kind of forgot to say that one. It was like an 80s. I wasn't quite sure on the year. That's a long wing nut. It was an 80s. It was 84 through 87 or 88 Kawasaki KX 125 two-stroke. That bike was also scary fast. And the best side to get this thing out is through the top. Somebody lubed that up good, unless that's like back pressure oil. Oh, there goes my wing nut. Or my wing bolt. So yeah, I could probably get a new one. But all in all, for the money that I spent on this bike, it was well worth it, I think. It's got Silver Star graphics, brand new back tire, and front tire, the guy said was the same one he got the bike, or the same tire that was on the bike when he got it. He bought it with 7 hours on the motor, and he said he only put like 2 hours on it, and I've only put probably an hour or 2 hours on it. So there's probably right around like 11 hours on the bike after you add everything up. Yeah, the sprocket is a 48 tooth sprocket, and I oiled my chain once. but 48, I don't know if I said 42 or not, but 48 tooth sprocket. I don't know if that's what came on here, but it feels like this bike gets up and goes, but once you get into like 4th and 5th gear, it just kind of like leans back and has a lot more torque than speed. I'm not really familiar with two-strokes. The only other two-stroke that I've ever had is that 80s KX 125, which was wicked. That thing, 4th and 5th gear, you couldn't do a wheelie in or whatever, but it hauled. Easily went 60 in 5th gear. And I never rode it in 5th gear even. Like, that was last year when I owned that bike, and I was too much of a chicken to shift into 5th. This thing, I rode it in 5th floored, and it doesn't feel near as fast. Maybe because I'm a year older than I was when that was, or when I owned that bike, but if you give it too much gas and you're still gaining speed, it'll knock you back. This bike will. But that's about it for now. I'll make sure to keep on making videos about the dirt bike. This is an 01 KX 252 stroke. Until next time, like, comment, subscribe, live loud and live fast.